Hi, my name is Dominic Bau. I was born and raised in Taos Pueblo, New Mexico. I've been an artist pretty much all my life. For the past 5 years, I've been making a living at it. Um, actually, growing up at Taos Pueblo, I had a lot of family members who were artists. I grew up with watching gentlemen like John Suazo and his late uncle Ralph Suazo. I also watched a lot of Jerry Track and her pottery and her famous storytellers. So I was inspired by a lot of what I saw growing up, and also growing up in nature. I grew up with my grandfather and a lot of my uncles who were drum makers. That's where I learned the art of drum making, was actually from my uncle Mike, who is a master drum maker. And as I started getting older, I became friends with other drum makers, and now to this day I still am friends with them, who we constantly share ideas and new strategies for making drums. Okay, yeah, let's talk about how you make a drum. First of all, it's a process. It's a process that you have to enter in with Mother Nature, because you got to watch the seasons on when you have to harvest the wood. The wood we harvest for drum making is pine wood and aspen mainly, because of the grain and the soft wood. After you harvest your drum, you gotta pretty much take care of the wood, make sure it dries and cures to a point where you're gonna be able to process it to make a drum. And then you gotta get the hides, and then we use cow, elk, deer, bison, buffalo hides. The process in that is a long, lengthy process, because first of all, you got to watch what season you're going to be able to process the hides in. Now during the winter season, it's very hard because of the cold to have any kind of chemical reaction with the hides. What I mean by chemical reaction with the hides is the water we soak the hides in water first, straight off the animal, and then we start taking off the inside fleshing and then the hair on the outside of the drums. After that, by doing this, we have to scrape it with a draw knife or some kind of knife on the inside and outside, and then you're ready to tie your drum. And I believe that's what started me on my journey, you know, my different journey on drum making now, is because of the COVID. You know, all of us have so much, a lot of time on our hands, and with this COVID thing, it kind of got my thinking going back to the old ways, on not only in my art but food, medicine. And so it started going into my art as, I was diagnosed with MS, multiple sclerosis. So nowadays I have to watch every chemical I put on my body or that I actually touch. So with this COVID and my MS, it kind of worked together in my art of drum making, and also jewelry making, sculpture, and other elements of my art. I do beadworking also, but with drum making, a lot of the hides that are used these days are purchased hides that are chemically processed. The hides are chemically processed using really, really harsh chemicals. So when drum makers purchase hides, as from other places, and tie their drums, they're exposing their hands to a lot of these harsh chemicals. So a lot along this thinking with my MS, and now with this time of COVID, where we're forced to be home and figure things out, I turned to the old ways of drum making, where I I was fortunate enough to work with a local meat processing plant, where they produce my hides for me, which are completely raw hides. So what I'm able to do is get these raw hides, and I'm able to process them myself, just using techniques from the old way, which is water and white ashes. I soak my hides in these two, water and ashes, for different days at a time, and that's how I process my hides. There's no chemicals used on these hides, which saves my body. The wood also gives me, for me to go out into the mountains and harvest the wood. It also strengthens my body as far as the MS. And so it's kind of a relationship I have with drums and Mother Nature, and for my health and also for my livelihood. So, it's kind of a little bit of how I've always made drums since I was very, very young. I learned a lot from my uncle Mike Kupso, who's a master drum maker. but making drums as a young man, it was more about making money than the actual meaning behind the drum, the traditional meaning behind the drum. And I didn't learn a lot about the drums until I started getting a lot older. Now that I have a son, I've actually learned a lot more about the drum. And because my little boy loves drums, he plays drums. He's been singing since he's like 2 years old. So he asked me, Dada, what does a drum mean? And I have to tell him it's a heartbeat. It's a heartbeat, and whenever we're stressed or afraid or sad or maybe even just happy, that's where the drum comes into, because it helps in, just playing the drum or hearing the drum. There's a lot more that goes into the meaning behind the drum, but that's what I remember for now. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of my journey with my drum making. It's more of a healing journey that I've been on. I also have one eye. I'm blind in my left eye, so it's almost like a challenge to me that if I complete a drum and it comes out good, it's a gold that I actually just completed something with a handicap. And every time I complete a drum, I'm really, really grateful. I like to give a lot of appreciation to the Millicent Rogers Museum and all the wonderful ladies who work there, who put this art show together for us artists here and giving us this outlet, not only to showcase our artwork, but to express some of our inspirations why we're artists, or where and why we do the things we do. That's why I do drums, is because I can, because my body allows me to, first of all, get up in the morning and go out in the mountains and work with animals and stuff, and it just gives me an appreciation for life, that I'm able to do art. And I do have I'm the owner and operator of Art of Life Gallery at Taos Pueblo. That's my pride and joy. That's why I named it Art of Life, because art has given me life. It's giving me a reason to get up every day and exercise and eat right and do the things I need to do to take care of myself and my little boy. So Art of Life is at Taos Pueblo, and it's more than just a gallery. It's more than just art. It's really people showcasing their life and putting their energy and time into their craft, because it means a lot to us. It really does. It really does.
This is the traditional drums of Taos Pueblo by Dominic Bau. Collectors would like to use these as a display of artwork in their homes, but still today the Taos Pueblo drum is used in powwows as well as other ceremonies. We have them in different sizes, from the smaller drum like you see here, as well as into the larger drum like you see here, which can be used as a coffee table.